Mastercard, Mr. Patrick Witt, what is crypto in America looking like under the 47th President of the United States as the White House come to Ripple? Hi, Tarun Freestone, coming to you wherever you are there out in the world. If you like my content, please subscribe and like. It really means a lot to me and helps push the YouTube algorithm out there, allowing my value to permeate into the financial ecosystem. I bring a mishmash of perspectives, keeping you across a wide range of topics to help make the best decisions for our financial futures and journeys. Just be advised, this is not financial advice. Everything I say is for entertainment purposes. Please consult a financial advisor if you want to buy crypto so you can understand all of the risks involved before you do. Thanks. So, let's dive in. What a crazy week. What a crazy day. What a crazy last 48 hours. We have the price here at $2.29 US, currently at $3.53. I know the markets have been acting up a little, but let's just stay calm and push on through because the developments at a higher level outweigh any short-term headwinds that we're having. Let the elites play the market as they will. Dump on down to below 100K for Bitcoin. Dump on down to $2 for a US price for XRP. So that all aside, we've got a huge buzz coming out of Swell. I just did want to take a moment to acknowledge Donald Trump because it is his anniversary. Well, it was yesterday for the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot for those V for Vendetta fans. All right, let's get into the other stuff. So we've got probably the biggest piece that came out was the Ripple Mastercard agreement. I'll go through that. And secondly, we have an interview that Zach Rector conducts with Kevin Maloney, CEO of iTrust Capital. That is such good news to hear about yield interest bearing vehicles coming from them. And then, of course, they do have 1.5 billion US dollars under management for XRP. And then we have this insane interview for, I think it is, 30 minutes with Crypto in America and Brad Garlinghouse. I love that. That was really good to listen to on the train ride into work. And he discusses how Ripple has a differing approach. Ripple, to paraphrase him, has focused on a segment of infrastructure, on the infrastructure side. We have stayed focused in the blockchain side of things, resisting the urge to do the things that Binance or a Kraken are performing. People are underestimating the acquisition of Hidden Road, now Ripple Prime. They cleared $3 trillion last year. And look, Brad says we are already a decentralized piece, so we need to acquire traditional institutional finance pieces, hence G Treasuries, 1,000 corporate office treasuries. That's insane amounts of money, billions and billions of dollars that are going to come through the XRP ecosystem. I then have the most impressive interview, bar none, which is Patrick Witt. Amongst other things, a Yale quarterback, became a professional Saints player, New Orleans Saints. Then law school. Whilst doing that, he consulted for Credit Suisse and then went to McKinsey's, the consultancy firm. Ran with Trump 2016. Then he himself went for public office in 2022 to Atlanta, Georgia, where he's born and raised. Then he got the call again, answered it when the 47th time came round, and he actually was in the Pentagon 30 minutes after Trump was sworn in, and he was heading up the national security side of things. So extremely impressive, and he actually was in charge of DARPA for a little while, which I know because I have an affinity for military information and history. So DARPA are like the head research section of the, very discreet, very secretive, and he was equivalent of a 4-star general up until very recently when he handed over the reins back to somebody else so he could focus on his current role, which is director of the White House Crypto Advisory Council or Committee. I strongly encourage you to research this man, and if anyone was going to take over, if Brad had to hang up his boots, I would be putting this guy on. So, yeah, give it a read, and I love what he says here about giving an understanding for the dinosaurs in the room about what is the true nature of the crypto space. Now, he did mention something we are tracking, which is the market bill. So that's the crypto market structure bill. Due to the CFTC people being furloughed, the technical acumen is out of the room, so that might stymie the progress. So I think he's alluding to that 50-50. It's probably going to happen next year or this year. So all of us in the community, probably our American brothers, just try and accept that. It's probably not going to happen this year. It seems like uh, we'll just get into that. And
have any exposure to crypto. When you think about if you were giving advice to what I'll call those laggards, what would you tell them today that might change their posture going forward?
I think it's somewhat of a fundamental misunderstanding of what crypto is, or blockchain rather. Cryptocurrency is one application of blockchain technology. And so, Ripple and others that are building the financial infrastructure for this new crypto economy that is built on top of it, view those more as companies, in the crypto space. But blockchain overall, you have Bitcoin, commodities, there are other stores of value. It's not a monolith, right? There are plenty of companies in this space that are building the infrastructure for this financial future. And pretty quickly, they're going to start to understand that, Bitcoin is not XRP, is not, name your other token out there. And
I think he's absolute wizard, that guy. Fantastic time spent watching that. Uh, Guys, ETFs are coming whether people like it or not. Steve McClurk from the Canary Capital one that's due to go live in a matter of days, they're ready. They're ready to rock and roll. Two other big pieces of information: 21,595 wallets were minted in the last 48 hours. That's huge. I have one part of information coming up I love very, very much. This was a $500 million investment from the Fortress, Citadel, Pantera, Galaxy, and Brevin Howard firms, and it's a $40 billion valuation. More money just keeps pumping and pumping into this. I think the writing's on the wall with XRP, and if you need any further sort of recitations on your emotions, just look to what the people are doing with their money. I'll launch into a couple of other little things that I wanted to cover off before we jet set. There was a mention that the quantum computer is a bit of a threat to our blockchain ecosystem. Extravod is a guy I follow. David Joel Katz Swartz does comment on this, discussing that the time will come where they need to start thinking about resistant algorithms when the risk looks of material value. So that is something that we should be keeping our eyes peeled for. And just on another note, we hit 100 million. That's 100 million ledger closes. So congratulations to David Schwartz for cooking up the XRP ledger. 100 million. Let's have a money shower. So on that note, we'll just dive into a little bit of analysis on the chart. I did mention it did a liquidity sweep here. We're probably going to have some difficulty breaking above $2.40 now for some time, even more so $2.30. But if we can get through $2.40, and then we'll bounce down to probably $2.25. I see a bit of a W forming, and then maybe a push out into the back end. I'm still expecting a reasonably big end to the year. I don't foresee any reason why it should stall out. I believe the ETFs, because of that auto lapse feature, and Paul Atkins markedly saying so to use that, and saying that on other pieces of documentation that were auto lapsing, it's fertile grounds to let that happen on this particular occasion for our ETFs when the SEC chair is promoting that sort of auto laps, like the opposite to Sleepy Joe Biden. We're letting this auto, but in a much better way, guys. We have the Australian price there for our American. See, it is completely upside down. We're down under here. We have no idea what's going on. And then finally, just the S&P 500. I do track it. I have small investment in there, and it's just good to get a wider breadth of the market. And it seems like we'll bounce off the top here, and we didn't even really touch down on 6,750, and now we're going to pop back up. So I expect probably a little bit of a rally and onwards and upwards from here. No sleep lost whatsoever, everyone. Finally, I just wanted to touch on a theorization of understanding truthfully what is involved with RLUSD. Now, some people believe it's back one-to-one with XRP. That's not correct. I will do a full breakdown of this tomorrow when I'm feeling a bit more pepped up and I can get through the large amount of information that is involved in this one. But I'll give you a quick little sneaky breeze through and a little bit of a sneak peek as to what is actually suggested based on this Claude 4.5 sonnet, because ChatGPT is for noobs. So go Claude. AI sort of game plan for how it could take material effect and propel XRP's price. So I will get into that breakdown and then combining that with previous work that we've done with ETF inflows of 5 billion at the bottom and the back end of that document. And then I'll pop that up as well when I launch that video tomorrow. Fantastic time, guys. Really awesome time. Now, as I say, I would be happy to do more analysis than just look at a few charts, such as Zcash, XLM, HBAR, DAG, whatever you guys want, Bitcoin. I just think that I've been in this for 6 years, and when I hear things that I Trust Capital are doing, it's irrelevant now. The technicals, they always do matter, but the stampede is coming. You've got to admit that where we are now, it's been a hard road. However, moving forward, we're just in a completely new world. AI is here, agent to agent, which is AIs telling other AIs how to interact, blockchain, Roth IRAs being able to be used. That was the I Trust Capital piece with Zach Rector. Go Zach. Appreciate your first-hand interviewing of Mr. Kevin there. It's going to be able to proactively generate yield for us without us losing our asset and liquidating it. So I'm really excited to see where that goes in the next few years. That's my number one issue. I don't want to kill the golden goose. So thanks for your time. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you on the flip side.